Okay. Hello. I am Azulo. Welcome back to another video. Let me stop moving around like that. Light looks pretty cool though. Anyways, welcome back to another video. Today is August 2nd, 2026, which is just absolutely crazy to think about. I hope everyone's doing good out there. Happy Sunday. I will be posting this on the day that I record this, so happy Sunday. Hope that you've had a good day so far, good weekend. I hope you've made the most out of it, in whatever it is that you like to do. But thank you for the time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I have a couple more thoughts that I just want to just release out into the void before they escape me. And so, like I said before, if I don't post something as soon as I get the idea, or that as soon as I'm thinking about it, right then and there, it tends to just escape me and I never do it. So I figured I'll just cut this real quick before the idea just completely escapes me, never to be seen again. But so today's topic is this right here. It's actually a really, really cool little, yeah, look at that. It's like a denim notebook. And it's the only little notebook that I have at the moment. So that's the first thing. If you're creative and you don't have a physical little notebook like this, that is the first thing you need. I used to have little notebooks like this, sketchbooks and stuff all the time throughout college. But really ever since then, I don't really use these little notebooks, and that was a mistake because a lot of these thoughts would just escape, and I had nowhere to write them down. It's not the same writing things down on your phone. It's just not. Like, there's no notes app or any app that I could download on my phone that I think would work better than just having this little notebook. And so what I did is I started to fill it out. I titled it EP1 2026 because that is when I hope to finish this EP. Before the end of this year, I hope to finish this EP, which will be about like 5, 6, 7 songs at the most, but really around like 5 or 6. About like 15, 20 minutes, 25 max, but I'd say 20 minutes, So just a small little idea of a small taste of just what I want to share with the world, and just what I've been working on and developing, and just this whole sound, that I've been just trying to capture and explain. And I realize I haven't fully done that yet. I still feel like I'm working out the Azulo and the Alchemy sound, but I'm getting closer. And so what I did is I made myself just some visual aids and then just some notes about everything. So if you look at this, it kind of just breaks down like my 3 to 4 main like musical influences. So when sitting down and then thinking about this EP, I asked myself what songs or what artists or what albums, what inspires me the most out of everything. What do I listen to the most? What do I love the most? What is it that makes me just feel something that I hope to also create in my music? And so I sat down and I thought about it, and obviously the number one person is Kanye West. 808s and Heartbreaks. I remember being like 8 years old, taking a bath just playing with my toys in the bath, and I think we had a radio or something in the bathroom. I don't know how this like memory even happened, but like I remember listening to 808s and Heartbreaks while being in the bathtub as a kid, and it just like, I don't know, it had such a profound effect on me that, you know, a lot of the other songs that came on didn't. And obviously, you know, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and everything after, but really the main influence, at least for Kanye, is 808s and Heartbreaks, and then I would say probably Pablo. So those two, and then from there I narrow it down. But out of that album, which songs, right? And typically I've noticed that like within any set of albums, they'll usually be around like 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 if it's really, really a good album of songs that I actually really like and like will actually listen to again. And so that's just the case, you know. There's usually like about, I'd say let's stick to like 4, 5 maybe at max songs out of an album that I really like. And so what I'm going to be doing is from that I'm going to be referencing those specific songs and then seeing what is it that I actually really like about this, and trying to recreate and just create in that way, you know. So yeah, for the first category is Kanye, and then I also put Vince Staples in there because really he is one of the only other rappers that I actually really like and think has like good beats, good drums, experimental, good raps, everything, you know. So then in my second category, that one right there, Joji, specifically the In Tongues EP and his Ballads 1 album. And then I also put Oliver Tree in there. And this is kind of like it might seem like a sort of a weird combination to put them two together, but the reason I did so is because, one, they're both the same age, right? So they're both coming up at the same exact time. So they both kind of started on the early internet days, you know, like the late 2000s, and really hit their strides in the 2010s, right? So yeah, Joji, probably one of my favorite artists in general as well. So there's a lot of songs of his that I like that I'm going to be just referencing and then just looking into why it is that I like these songs so much. And then Oliver Tree, rest in peace. May he live on forever through his art. Admittedly, I really wasn't a fan of his music. I never really listened to it like that. But I was a huge fan of just the personality and just who he was. I love that about him. Just no one like that, you know. No one else really compared. But I did start to get more into his music, obviously, after he passed, just to see like what it was that he was pouring all of this into. And so today I actually listened to Ugly is Beautiful from front to end for the first time. And there was like, let's see, there was a good amount of songs on there that I liked. But anyways, I still have to listen to a couple more of his albums. I listened to the newest one, and there was also like a good 5 or 6 on there that I liked. So I liked Cash Machine, Bury Me Alive, Joke's on You, and Jerk. Those are the 4 songs that I liked the most on this album. And then on Love You Madly, Hate You Badly, there's a crazy run that he has, like just non-stop, from Dirty, Deep End, Joyride, Crazy, and Someone Else, and maybe Halo as well. Like that's also a really, really crazy run. So that's why they're together, you know, because they're mostly like internet artists, you know. They got their start on the early internet, on YouTube, and made it through that avenue rather than just the more traditional artist route that many artists do, you know. They got started on the internet, and that was a big part of their rise in popularity. So that's why they're together. So next up, over here, I have The Cure and Joy Division. Two amazing bands from I guess the 70s even. Joy Division started in the 70s, but I kind of consider them more of an 80s band. So two really amazing bands from the 80s. They kind of have this whole like new wave, little bit of a punkish sound, dark, melancholy, definitely not very happy in a lot of cases. The mood, just the vibe of it really resonated with me. I think I found Unknown Pleasures back in like 2019 for the first time. But I mean, even that one, Shadowplay, New Dawn Fades, Day of the Lords, it's Intermission on that one. There's so many good songs on that album. And The Cure, likewise. Pornography from 1982, Disintegration from 1990. They've got so many good songs. And this is obviously more of a rock and roll type bass, right? Instead of a hip hop, or more of like electronic, lo-fi, modern type sound, if you want to call it that. So I knew I wanted some kind of just something a bit more vintage sounding as well. So this kind of adds that flair to it. You get the guitars, the bass, the more traditional like format with just like rock and roll, right? So this is something that is primarily gonna be obviously played live, right? I have my guitar right there, my bass. I just got an acoustic guitar. I even have a drum kit in the garage, right? So I have pretty much everything that I need. So now I just need to put it all together and really lock in on that sound. And then, so those were the three, right? Now obviously the little blue at the center, that's me, right? That's where I fit in. But then I also kind of added a fourth one. I played around with maybe adding a fourth category. And I thought about that some more, and I was like, I don't know what other artists or albums really have like made an impact on me like that. And the first one is really just a song right now, because I haven't explored much of his discography like that. But 1999 by Prince, I don't need to say more. And then I also included Pink Floyd on there, because there is definitely a good amount of their songs that I just really love. And they also have that, that older rock sound, but just so weird in so many cases, So that's kind of the Venn diagram for now. And I'm working now on just kind of narrowing it down some more. And that's really about it. Other than that, I kind of just wrote a little explanation about each section, which is kind of just what I just spoke about. So that's kind of how I'm approaching this EP. It's me taking the best out of my favorite artists and trying to create something new, something that's me, something that's different, right? Because ultimately, all of these different artists and all these songs resonating with me is a reflection of me. The reason why I choose to resonate with these songs, I don't know, but that's all me, right? So taking all this, while it is kind of pulling on these different musical inspirations, putting it all together, I feel like I'll be able to find a way that just hasn't been done before. So really looking forward to that. I gotta get to work for sure, for sure. The problem that I have isn't that I don't work on stuff. It's just that a lot of the times I don't finish it, or I don't continue to work on it or continue to develop it, you know? Like I'll just start on something new before I end something. I don't know. It's always that's always been a challenge for me. Is like knowing whether like just finishing stuff really. I always start stuff, but it's always harder for me to like take it through and really put in the time and the effort on like one idea, because I'm always just having so many, you know. So this will be a challenge for me for sure to narrow down like 5 or 6 songs that I really, really do actually want to work on and finish through to the end. So I'm excited. So thank you for listening to these words. Hopefully you come along for the journey. Thank you.